Hi, Paul Hefty here. Want to talk about coaching relationships and how it relates to team management application. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to talk about how to deal with administration, and we'll finish there with a speed game. Um, the relationship you have with your administration or different leaders in your organization is how you communicate and treat them. So a couple key points here in red. Number one, be organized. You want to be able to provide consistent information and have it in writing so it's documented. Part of the reason you're designing a portfolio, it'll demonstrate the importance of being organized and preparation for others in your organization. You want to, number two, find out how other people, other leaders in your organization or administration like to communicate. Again, it's real important you adjust to their style sometime if you want to be heard. Great example is, as a head coach at a small college myself, I had an athletic director who liked to have everything documented and then be able to talk kind of loosely in the hallway and have those loose conversations, and then be able to go back with meetings after the writing. So I sent him emails. He loved email. And we have kind of an agenda, and then we could have that informal talking time, and then we could follow it up with a formal one-on-one meeting using that same agenda. But it was consistent so that there were no surprises. And that's the number 3 point here, be proactive. Don't wait for somebody to ask for the information. Just give it to them, and then that way there's no surprises. Over communicate. And then lastly, provide regular updates, both the good and the bad information. As it says here with the asterisk, consistency creates respect and trust. So the same thing you're trying to do to design and develop a healthy culture with your program, you need to do the same thing in providing a trusting and respectful and a healthy culture with the other people in the organization you work with other leaders. So let's just finish here with a quick speed game. You want to pause it here and just give yourself 1 minute, no more, and just try to list every group, every type of organization or people or group that you would have contact or have to have a relationship with as a head coach in your the selection of your team and your program. Go. All right, so hopefully you were able to list quite a few of these, but we like to kind of go through. If we were live, we would do break it up into teams and do kind of a competition. It's kind of fun, but and compare. But here's some different coaching relationships you might have. If you're typically, the example here would be a high school coach of any sport. So you can see the different groups there. Maybe make a note of one if you did not have one of these down. Here it is continued again. Go through, make a note, all the different groups, and make a note of ones that you may not have listed. The point we're trying to make here is relationships really matter, and it's important for you as a leader to build on those relationships. There's a great video here of a TED Talk by Rita Pearson that you must watch. It's going to be part of your assessments and quizzes. Coming up, your quiz bowls, you're going to need to do some application. But it's worth your time. It's 7 minutes, and it's one of the most impactful TED Talks I've ever listened to. She is a teacher in the public school system of Chicago, Illinois, and I was actually there as a substitute teacher, and then through grad school, and then later on as an assistant coach at small college where I got to recruit in those areas. She's inspirational, it's educational. The goal here is with all videos outside of the lectures, please try to just pick one thing that you can add to your portfolio and cite as a reference and use. All right, here's a link to Rita Pearson's TED Talk presentation. Again, it's about 7 minutes. It's also on Canvas as a link. Make sure you write down notes of things that are impactful to you or that you could use as a portfolio. Great reference. All right, then for a workshop, let's go ahead and do these 4 points and just make some quick notes. List several things you can do as a head coach to gain support of your parents and your fans, different people in your organization. This is what I would call leadership marketing. Number 2, try to list and be proactive looking at some potential problems that can occur between coaches and other faculty. And you can look at from experiences, but also from the textbooks talks about this and things you could anticipate. This is what I call contingency planning, looking at several different scenarios to be proactive in your preparation. Number 3, how can the coach make the principal or that administrator or whoever is in charge of your organization a supporter of your program? This is what I would call management marketing. Now, the difference between leadership and management is leadership is what you do on the outside of the organization. Management is that day-to-day operational pieces. And that's what administrators in an organization feel is very important from a head coach. And last then, what ways can coaches avoid conflicts in regards to facility usage and sharing? This again would be proactive management with your peers. So stop the video here and go through and answer those 4 pieces. Again, you'll be able to use those in future assessments. All right, last workshop is direct application to an upcoming team management assignment. You are going to have to design meetings for these 4 different groups. You want to go through and design an agenda, which will act as your illustration. This is a checklist or an outline of what you would cover for that meeting. And then you would go back and write a thesis statement about what is the focus, emphasis, the reason, what and why of your preseason staff meeting, for example, and then use cite a reference to support that. You'll want to do that for each of the 4, again, doing TRI, but work in reverse by setting up your agenda and your checklist outline for the meeting, which will serve as your illustration. Thanks.